Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your primetime destination. News, newsmakers, talking points. The big talking point, the brewing constitutional crisis. Governors are at war with chief ministers of opposition-ruled states. We'll tell you more on that in a moment. But first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9. A constitutional crisis now in the making in Tamil Nadu. The DMK is to approach President to demand the recall of the governor days after Governor Ravi walks out of the state assembly after reading out an edited speech. Killer apathy claims 2 lives in the heart of Bengaluru. Metro pillar falls on a mother and her 2.5-year-old child. The family demands accountability. Protests rage in Joshimath and locals protest against the demolition of 2 hotels. Nearly 700 houses have been marked unsafe so far. Rahul Gandhi visits the Golden Temple in Amritsar. Akali Dal and BJP hit out, accuse the Congress party of betraying Sikhs, referred to the 84 riots. Trinamool Congress versus BJP showdown over Ganga Sagar Mela in Bengal. Police deny permission to BJP's Aarti demand near the Mela. Trouble for activist Shailad Rashid. Delhi LG gives nod for prosecution in a sedition case against Shaila for her 2019 anti-army tweets. All eyes on the Golden Globes Awards tomorrow. Pan-India smash hit RRR in running for Best Film and Best Song Awards. Will Hollywood groove to Natu Natu? Virat Kohli scores his 45th ODI century, takes 61 innings less to equal Tendulkar's staggering record. And Tata is all set to become India's first homegrown iPhone manufacturers as they eye an assembly plant near Bengaluru. Tata's look to seal the plant purchase by the end of March 2023. But our breaking news at the moment, the DMK government in Tamil Nadu has upped the ante. Following the showdown in the state assembly, the senior leaders of the party have now left for Delhi to seek an audience with the president, demanding that the governor be recalled. T.R. Balu, A. Raja, State Law Minister Raghupati have sought time to meet with the president, and if given time, we are told they will urge the president to recall the governor R.N. Ravi. So the big story coming in at the moment, political story, the face-off in Tamil Nadu has only intensified. DMK set to meet the president now, wanting that the governor be recalled. They want President Murmu to recall the governor who they say has been acting against the interests of the government in Tamil Nadu. So DMK leaders to demand for the governor's recall by meeting the president. Now the campaign against the governor R.N. Ravi has spread across the state. Hashtag Get Out Ravi trending on social media. Posters coming out in Chennai. Remember all of this a day after dramatic scenes had played out in the Tamil Nadu assembly as the governor walked out amidst Chief Minister Mkstalin speech. Tonight's top story is on how increasingly across this country, those living in Raj Bhavans are in headlong collisions with those who are elected chief ministers of opposition-ruled states. Take a look.
Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi and Chief Minister M.K. Stalin are at war. After the governor walked out of the state assembly while the Chief Minister was speaking, a campaign against him is spread across Tamil Nadu. First, the hashtag Get Out Ravi started trending on social media. And now posters have come up across Chennai with the same message. Late night protests erupted in Sulur, where DMK workers blocked roads and burnt posters of the governor. The DMK is evidently turning up the heat after the governor edited out references to Dravidian heroes and achievements of the state government from the speech handed over to him. Stalin's son and State Minister Udayanithi Stalin has hit out at the governor for walking out during his father's speech.
இன்று காலையிலே நடந்த ஒரு நிகழ்வு. நீங்கள் எல்லாம் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீர்கள். தமிழ்நாடு சட்டசபையிலேயே வரலாற்றே இல்லாத மாதிரி நம்முடைய தலைவர் ஒரு சம்பவம் செஞ்சிருக்கிறாரு. பொதுவாக தலைவர் அவர்கள் தன்னுடைய பதிலில் கொண்டு வருகின்ற அறிவிப்புகள் எதிர்க்கட்சிகளை தான் ஓட விடுவார். இன்று நம்முடைய ஆளுநரையே ஓட விட்டார் நம்முடைய தலைவர் அவர்கள்.
Speaking to India today, Udayanidhi evaded questions on the assembly face-off. However,
you also said that the chief minister made the governor itself run away. Any comment on that particular one, sir?
I don't want to comment about it now.
the BJP has come to the governor's defense, accusing the DMK of being intolerant.
The tolerance is the essence in democracy. When they are not tolerant to our own governor, then what kind of the democratic value that they can give to the society?
For now, the governor is holding his ground. His Pongal invitation to VIPs this year mentions Tamil Nadu as Tamilagam, a name he proposed a few days ago, sparking outrage among the Dravidian parties, including both ruling DMK and opposition AIADMK. DMK ally, the CPM, pointed out that last year's invitation from the governor came with the state symbol, while this year it bears the union government symbol.
Tamil Nadu is the one place, let us say Tamilagam is more appropriate.
With the Raj Bhavan taking on the DMK government in a state that takes immense pride in its regional identity, political parties in the state are wondering if Governor Ravi is taking his cue from the Narendra Modi government. With Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
The worrying part is it's not just Tamil Nadu. Governor versus chief minister fights are becoming an increasingly common feature in states ruled by non-BJP parties, by the opposition. From Delhi to Telangana to Jharkhand to Kerala, the tiff between the state governments is becoming quite apparent. In Delhi, Chief Minister Kejriwal and Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena are fighting over every issue. Almost every issue. Matter has now reached the Supreme Court, which is hearing a plea on the state government's powers. In Telangana, Governor Tamilisai Soundarajan, also a former BJP politician, has even alleged that her phone is being tapped by the KCR government. In Jharkhand, relations between Raj Bhavan and Chief Minister Hemant Soren have soured as the governor has sought a second opinion on an EC recommendation on the Office of Profit case. And in Kerala, Arif Mohammad Khan has taken on Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan on a range of issues, from appointments to bills passed by the State Assembly. All of this bringing us to our big questions right at the very top. Are governors now at war with opposition chief ministers? Is the governor's role under scanner? Are governors acting as the agents of the centre, or are they guardians of our law? Is a constitutional crisis brewing? And let me add another one. Why do we really need governors if they are going to get into constitutional fights over taxpayers' money is what we pay for these Raj Bhavans? My first guest is Najib Jung, Delhi's former Lieutenant Governor. Mr. Jung, not just Delhi, but I want you to look at the bigger picture. LG here, but governors across the country getting into these fights with the elected chief minister. Do you believe this is healthy for a democracy? Do you believe that are they acting as agents of the centre, or is it inevitable that there will be some clashes at times?
Rajdeep, I'm extremely concerned at what's happening, because I think that this is becoming a challenge to the federal structure of the country. People should go back to the debates in the Constituent Assembly when personalities like Hari Vishnu Kamath, Iyengar and indeed Dr. Ambedkar had clearly defined the limitations of the powers of a governor. So to exceed those powers today will be challenging the federal structure. In fact, if I recall rightly, my years may be wrong, I think in 1988 or so, the BJP itself, before the Sarkaria Commission, had said that whenever the centre passes any legislation pertaining to states on the concurrent list, then the states should be consulted. So we are really taking a step back, and I think this is truly playing with fire, because the states involved, particularly West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, these are states with enormous regional pride. and I don't think that we should at all get involved in this. This should be stemmed now. People should be advised to take a step back, and I'm sorry to use the word, but sanity must prevail. It's too dangerous the way we are going.
Would you make a distinction between the states you mentioned, the Tamil Nadus, the Bengals, the Kerala's, with the Delhi, where you have a lieutenant governor in place? You were a former LG, and there was a feeling in a union territory the lieutenant governor has disproportionate powers. Now here is the elected government of Arvind Kejriwal saying the governor is not allowing us to, LG is not allowing us to function. You also had a conflict at times with Mr. Kejriwal. Is this a problem of a trust deficit between elected leaders and LGs or governors?
I will not comment on Delhi, Rajdeep. That's unethical on my part, having been here. But I really think that there has to be much more discussion, and this impression that it's only the opposition ruled states that are having conflicts must go, because India indeed is a federal structure, and that has to be respected. So both the chief ministers, I mean, the powers of the governor are clearly enshrined in the constitution. They can retain the bills for a part of the time, but they cannot retain them indefinitely. If they think that it's against the constitution, they can refer it to president. But to sit on bills, to interfere with the working of universities as chancellors, this is not acceptable. This will lead to many, many conflicts. So all these people must take a step back. And this, what I am saying, has been recommended consistently by all commissions set up since 1968 to now.
You know, you went back to the Sarkaria Commission, to previous center state commissions. The fact, though, is the argument that today's leaders make is that even in the past, the Congress, which was then in power, was accused of misusing Raj Bhavans. So what is different? Do you see anything different between now and then?
No. The Congress certainly misused Raj Bhavans, there's no doubt. And the Congress also misused Article 356 quite easily in dismissing governments. And if it hadn't been from diktats from the Supreme Court, the consistent misuse of 356 may have continued. It's only much reduced today because of the intervention of the Supreme Court. So no government here, since the dismissal of the Kerala government at the behest of the then Congress President, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, way back in 1959, no government can be absolved of this. But what I am saying is the larger picture is the respect for federalism, the respect for state governments, and the respect for regional feelings, particularly in states which have tremendous culture. I mean, the Tamilians have enormous culture, their language, their literature, their poetry, their music, and the sense of pride that Tamil Nadu has in all these things. To suggest a change in name from Tamil Nadu to something else by the governor is not something that is healthy for center-state relations.
So in conclusion, what you're saying is governors need to in some way accept a certain Lakshman Rekha, that they must recognize that once you're appointed governor, you're a guardian to the constitution, you're not simply an agent of a political party or indeed the center.
That is the oath that the governors have sworn themselves to. And that is very clearly debated in the Constituent Assembly, that preferably governors shall not belong to any political party. They will be eminent citizens and therefore be above board of local partisan politics. Well, I don't see, you see, it's only embarrassing the central government. Okay. I think the Prime Minister has worked very hard to create India's international image. All this will hurt India's international image. The governor of today, please understand, is not the governor of the Mauryan times or the Mughal times or the American governors. Here their powers are extremely limited and enshrined in Article 163 of the Constitution.
Let me leave it there. Najib Jung, I appreciate your joining us. You've given us, in a sense, where you stand very clearly. You believe it's time for governors to take a step back in this conflict. Thanks very much for joining me. Let me therefore widen that debate now to political parties and lawyers. R.P. Singh, BJP spokesperson, joining us. Mohan Kumaramangalam from the Congress party, its spokesperson. Jasmine Shah of the Aam Aadmi Party. Aryama Sundaram, senior advocate, Supreme Court, also a proud Tamilian, I'm sure. So he will have his own perspective of what's happened in that state. And maybe that's a good point to take to you, Mr. Sundaram, first, because the politicians will presumably have their own partisan views on what's happened. But your sense, is Tamil Nadu what we've seen unprecedented? Governor walking out of the state assembly, refusing to read the exact text of the speech prepared by the chief minister, asking for a change in the name of the state. Has the governor crossed certain red lines?
Rajdeep, according to me, and I must say this is my view, I have no manner of doubt that the governor has not behaved in a gubernatorial manner in which a neutral, fair governor is expected to act. I do believe that the governor of Tamil Nadu, for whatever reasons he may have felt required, decided to almost make his own campaign, his own views, his own opinions. And I don't think this was called for, especially at the occasion on which he chose to do so. The governor usually delivers the speech which has been given by the government. Now here, if he deliberately omitted or changed portions of it, I do not think it was called for. And I think giving this voluntary gratis advice about to the people of Tamil Nadu as to how they should change the name of their state, I think was uncalled for. You know, it was as long ago as 1971 that the Rajamana committee actually said that a governor should realize that he is not the agent of the center, but is the constitutional head of a state. You must also realize that the governor has powers constitutionally, which are even wider than the president's powers, which is why it is very important for the governor to exercise his powers with great circumspection. For example, the governor has what is called constitutional discretionary powers, other than just situational discretionary powers. Situational is to deal with a case where there is no clear government, no clear majority to decide and call on the leader of the party with the maximum seats, etc. That is situational discretionary powers. But there is, under Article 163, the governor has a duty to listen to the chief minister and the council of ministers, follow the advice, unless it deals with the governor's discretionary powers. And as to whether it is his discretionary power or not is beyond question, and his decision is final on that. And one of his discretionary powers, which you will not find with the president, is to ask the state government to give him information on administrative and legislative matters. In fact, in the Bombay case, one of the grounds on which the governor could recommend the dissolution of an assembly was when constitutional directives of the union executive were not being followed by the state government, according to the governor. So the governor has been given certain powers which could be used or misused.
So let me ask you.
Today was an example of misuse.
So let me ask you, before I go to the politicians and let you go, do you believe that if the governor of Tamil Nadu continues in this manner, he should be recalled? Should a recall of a governor take place only in extreme circumstances? Is it better for the two sides, the DMK government and the governor, to sit across the table and resolve the issue?
Rajdeep, I take your word extreme circumstances, and let me tell you that this governor of Tamil Nadu is skirting with the extreme.
That's a very, see, you're saying he's skirting with the extreme, so effectively putting himself in a position where he could be recalled or should be recalled. Am I correct?
And for constitutionally not fulfilling the expectations that the Constitution has in a governor.
Okay. Aryama Sundaram, thanks very much for joining us. Let's therefore widen it to our politicians. You've heard what the lawyers have said, what a former lieutenant governor has said. I'll come to you more, Kumaramangalam, before I come to the politicians who are looking closely at what's happening in Delhi as well. Mr. Kumaramangalam, the DMK Congress, we are told now, coming to meet the president, they want the governor to be recalled. Is there no, why have matters reached this stage? Could this not be resolved?
Rajdeep, it's not that the DMK Congress government has not tried to resolve matters. Mr. Ravi's position has frankly become untenable after what he's done yesterday. He has been sitting on about 20 bills that have been passed in the assembly for over 6 months for no good reason. He doesn't deem it necessary to provide an elected government with a reason for sitting on these bills. Some of these bills are critical to the functioning of the government. He's also been making offhand remarks outside, then acting more as a spokesperson of the ruling party in the centre than a sort of arbiter of good faith between the centre and the state and a bipartisan constitutional authority. What he did yesterday in terms of omitting certain portions of the speech has been done in the past by other governors, I will let you know. However, when they have done that, it is because the central government in some way has been criticized. The portions of the speech that Mr. Ravi chose to omit had absolutely no indication of criticism for anybody. It was laudatory of the current elected government, and Mr. Ravi might have a problem with some of the Dravidian leaders, but it also mentioned with high praise Mr. Ambedkar's name, which the central government seems to celebrate on and off. So I'm not sure why Mr. Ravi chose to omit Mr. Ambedkar's name from the speech as well. So Mr. Ravi has been making offhand remarks, and the issue of the naming of Tamil Nadu is of particular sensitivity because it was a Gandhian, a freedom fighter, Sankara Linganar, who actually fasted on to death to change the name from Madras state to Tamil Nadu. Mr. Ravi can't just walk into a state and decide that he should decide what it's been called without understanding the history, the culture, and the sacrifices that have gone into the creation of this state. Which is why I'm saying that through his actions repeatedly, he has made his own position untenable.
So you believe he should be recalled. Let me come to you, R.P. Singh, because it is not just what is happening in Tamil Nadu. It appears that in every opposition-ruled state, the governor who has strong links with the BJP, some of them have been BJP politicians like Tamil Sai Soundarajan, are all targeting in a way the opposition chief ministers. In Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal is saying VK Saxena is acting completely as the agent of the centre. Now, therefore, there seems to be a pattern. When the BJP was in the opposition, they would accuse the Congress of misusing Raj Bhavan. You are doing exactly the same, or that's the accusation against the BJP. You are misusing the Raj Bhavans to settle political scores or to put the opposition chief ministers under pressure, Mr. R.P. Singh.
Rajdeep, thank you for calling me for your debate today. You picked up the only part which suited you of the noted lawyer, Supreme Court lawyer, and then you missed out on the first part which he said, where he said that governor has powers under section 163 and which is constitutional and situational discretionary powers, which he can use wherever is required. Constitutional powers, one can go to court and then challenge if he misuses them. Discretionary powers also, one can go to court and challenge that. But coming to this issue related that is it state is it center versus the opposition states? No. Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Punjab, there are other states also where things go perfectly okay. Now let's see what's happened in the assembly.
Non-BJP rule states.
The governor sir has issued some statement outside the assembly. Ruckus was created moment he started giving speech. And then there was a lot of ruckus created by the leader of the Congress party, the leader of the left parties and of the ruling parties.
No, so you're saying that the DMK, are you saying that the DMK, the Aam Aadmi Party government or the left in Kerala, they are the ones who should answer the question, not the governors of those states? When the governors of those states openly talk about the governments, make public pronouncements about the government, criticize the government, is that the job of governors? Look at Maharashtra, what Mr. Koshyari was saying about Uddhav Thackeray's government.
Can I complete where I left?
Yes, please.
So the ruckus was created, and as per the legislative Tamil Nadu legislative rule chapter 4 point number 17 is clearly mentioned that if any such thing happens, governor during governor address or after the governor address, governor can ask the speaker to take action against all such MLAs or the leaders. So that's the case.
No, but the
Governors
fact,
are
RP Singh, are you saying that these governors are acting independently of the center? Are you telling me that Delhi is not sending instructions to these governors to in some way put the government of the day on the mat? Are you telling me Delhi has nothing to do? Most of them are former BJP people. That's the problem. The perception is that they are being sent there to target opposition governments.
Well, I can also say that you are being asked by the leaders of these states to create a perception for the center and the ruling party in the center. I mean, that you're saying and it's my saying versus my saying, that you're intendingly trying to create a perception against the ruling party, which is Prime Minister Modi's government, and which you have all the right to do. I mean, you can't deny that. And so the leaders of the states or political opponents have right to say it. But this is not the first time. I mean, can I tell you how many times has the Congress sacked the, you said you were comparing the present dispensation with the earlier dispensation. 100 times the government was sacked by the Congress regime under Section 356, including the DMK government also at one given time. 49 times it was during Mrs. Indira Gandhi's time only. Can you quote me one instance where the Prime Minister Modi or BJP-led government, NDA government has sacked any government during this period?
So you're saying that the Congress has no moral right to talk about misuse of Raj Bhavan. Just a minute, sir. Let me bring in now Jasmine Shah. Jasmine Shah, you've heard from the BJP. They're saying that it is the chief ministers also who have to work with governors. Why is it that a Naveen Patnaik has no problem with a governor? Why is it that Mr. Kejriwal has a problem, or a Pinarayi Vijayan or a Stalin? Because they are itching for a fight, spoiling for a fight.
Rajdeep, I was hearing the debate on Tamil Nadu, and it's very sad to see what's happening in Tamil Nadu in terms of the powers of the elected government. But if for all the viewers who are watching this show, if they hear what is happening in Delhi, it'll be shocking for them. It should shock any Indian who's proud of our democracy. Rajdeep, in any democracy, the will of the people is always supreme. From the time you have elected your chief minister and an elected government, you expect them to deliver, and you give them the powers to deliver. In Delhi also, BJP will always try to create this confusion that no, Delhi is not a full state. But a constitution bench of the Supreme Court, a 5-judge constitution bench in 2018, gave a landmark judgment. It said that barring 3 subjects which are explicitly listed under Article 239AA of the Constitution, which is police, land and public order, Delhi is almost like a state. The chief minister has complete executive powers. It also said that the lieutenant governor has no executive powers in any subject which is with the chief minister, except the 3 subjects which are transferred to the center.
Yes, but there was also an amendment. There were also amendments brought in through Parliament that effectively converted, that gave extraordinary powers to the LG administrator.
After Aam Aadmi Party loses Punjab, BJP ruled central government passes a new act saying that, you know what, Chief Minister is not the government of Delhi, the LG is the Delhi government. You know, Bhad mein jaye, the will of the people and the mandate of the people, which have given 62 out of 70 seats to Aam Aadmi Party. It is now the LG who will decide on matters such as who will pay the lawyer's bill, who will clear the bills of Mohalla clinic, tests and doctors, who will fill the vacancies of school teachers. Each and every subject today, democracy is being ridiculed in Delhi. Every decision the LG is trying to take. It is a complete mockery of our constitution. It's a complete mockery of the Supreme Court judgment of 2018. And this shows that, you know, it's a dangerous precedent. Not just people of Delhi, the people of India need to worry, because Delhi is the mirror for the rest of India. Agar aaj ye Delhi mein ho sakta hai, what stops BJP tomorrow to use the offices of the governor? You know, Rajdeep, just 3 days back, the LG released a letter saying that many of the acts of Delhi says the administrator shall issue orders. It basically means that in any parliamentary democracy, a president or the governors issue orders, but the orders are basis the decision taken by the cabinet. But here the LG has said that no, because the act says administrator will decide, I will decide. The elected government has no role. And this particular aspect came out clear that in the MCD elections, even though the Aam Aadmi Party won the elections, the LG decided to nominate 10 BJP people as councillors in MCD.
There is a,
in the
you know,
history of MCD,
as I said, the LG situation.
It has never happened that the LG is nominating any politicians to the MCD
yes,
house.
but
it's
the
always elected
Parliament
government
Act
of Delhi
has
that
given
sends
the
the recommendation.
Delhi.
In this case, it did not happen. The Lieutenant Governor today has, I'm very sorry to say, started taking a turn towards dictatorship in Delhi by directly issuing directions to the officers of Delhi government.
Okay.
And that is what we need to all worry about.
Okay, you're saying that the Delhi LG has turned into a dictator. RP Singh, you want to quickly respond?
Very small point to Jasmine Shaw. Sir, you have again the court to go to. You can surpass Parliament and go to court and
They've gone to court
get a
today.
ruling from there. But as of now, Constitution says Bhimrao Ambedkar's Constitution laid as per the parliamentary norm is that governor is the administrator. You appoint 30 corporators, 30 people as the alderman is okay. If governor appoints 10, it's not okay, not fair. I mean, you have to go by the law, and the ruling is which Rajdeep was referring to. So
you're saying go to the Supreme. You're
DMC
saying please go to the Supreme Court. Okay, you're saying please go to the Supreme Court. Mr. Kumar Mangalam, in Delhi the matter is reaching the Supreme Court. In Tamil Nadu it appears to be reaching the president's door now. The DMK delegation likely to come here tomorrow calling for the recall of the governor. As I said, in the past the Congress has been accused of using governors to dismiss governments. So can the Congress really have a moral right to talk on the role of Raj Bhavans?
And as one of your guests as one of your guests pointed out, thanks to the Supreme Court, the misuse of Article 356 has not happened since. I am not defending our past record in dismissing governments, which is back in the 70s. What I'm talking about today is governors across the country creating a constitutional crisis by not being bipartisan in any way. If every time a governor takes the stage, he ends up making a political speech that is critical of the government of the day that is elected by people, he is carrying out an agenda that he has been sent to that state with. That is what Governor Ravi is doing. That's what Mr. Arif Mohammad Khan is doing. If a governor is sitting on bills with no finite timeline or reason for doing so, he is purposely obstructing the administration of the state. So there is no way, as one your BJP guest said, that this could be being done to destroy the perception of the central government. This is actually interfering with the day-to-day administration, which is going to directly reflect on the state government. And the third thing is, both the Sarkaria Commission and the Poonchi Commission after that have said repeatedly that states should avoid resting any statutory powers in the governor. A lot of what the governor does is norms and conventions, and it is expected of him to be bipartisan.
Let me leave it there. I've run out of time. I accept that this is a situation which requires the Supreme Court perhaps now to draw a Lakshman Rekha. You cannot have a repeat of what happened in the 70s and say, look, the Congress did it in the 70s, we are only, don't blame us. That can't work. You cannot have governors who are going to dictate terms to elected state governments unless those governments have crossed certain constitutional boundaries. So maybe the Supreme Court needs to set that Lakshman Rekha. But appreciate all my guests joining me here on the news today. Let's turn from there to the story that really has troubled a lot of people, because remember, Netas in Karnataka are preparing for elections. They are sparring over Tipu Sultan, Savarkar, love jihad, hijab halal. But they don't seem to be focusing on the real issues. The real issue today in Bengaluru, a 2.5-year-old Vihan and his mother Tejaswini were crushed to death after a metro pillar fell on them. The fact is, infrastructure is a critical issue. Why don't our politicians talk about that? Take a look.
Its neighborhoods turn lakes in rains. And its lakes dying from pollution, neglect and degradation. A city once proudly called India's IT hub seems sinking in potholes of the size of ditches. A mother and a baby boy became the latest victim of Bengaluru's civic apathy. Tejaswini and her son Vihan died after a metro pillar under construction came crashing down on their two-wheeler in Nagavara. Her husband and baby girl have been hospitalized with injuries.
All precautions we are taken. In spite of that, this has happened. So we have to go into the detailed investigation why these kinds of incident has happened, because whenever we do this kind of reinforcement, we tie the iron rope on four sides. We tie the iron rope so that there is absolutely no movement of the reinforcement. But in this case, one of the wire has broken. Now, why that wire broke, what went wrong, for that reason, I am calling the team from the Indian Institute of Science. Both together, mother and girl together, from BMRCL will give 20 lakh rupees as compensation.
Bengaluru's metro announced financial assistance to the bereaved family and a thorough inquiry.
Police is investigating the case and we are taking expert opinion regarding this issue. We will check up who is the contractor and we will take necessary action.
ನನಗೆ ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಅದು ವಿಚಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಯಾಕೆ ಬಿತ್ತು ಏನು ಬಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ. ಆ ಕಾರಣನೂ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಪರಿಹಾರ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾದಂಥ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ನನಗಿನ್ನೂ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ.
The city police and the state administration also issued their statements about imminent investigation. But the malaise affecting Bengaluru runs deeper in a state obsessed with ideological priorities. From dress codes in educational institutions, posters and their types in legislature, to love jihad, the ruling establishment has its focus set. Sample this directive from the horse's mouth at the start of 2023.
ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನೀವು ರಸ್ತೆ ಮೋರಿ ಚರಂಡಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸ ಹೋದಾಗ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ನಳಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಕ್ಕು ನಿಮಗೇನು ಬಂಗಾರ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಬದುಕಿನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದ್ ಎಂದು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಬೇಕು. ಲವ್ ಜಿಹಾದ್ ಎಂದು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕು ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ.
For Karnataka's political establishment, the late 18th century Tipu Sultan of Mysore carries more worth in their verbal back and forth than the contamination of lakes in the present-day Mysuru, whose water has been found unfit for human consumption. High time Karnataka's citizenry asserted its power over real issues this election year in the southern state. With Sagai Raj and Anaga in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
A case of misplaced priorities in several of our cities highlighted there in that tragedy in Bengaluru. Let's move from there to the other story that should tell us a thing or two about the quality of governance in parts of the country. The threat in Uttarakhand's Joshimath, which continues because the cracks on walls, roads and buildings are still there. Preparations now for demolitions have begun across the construction that have taken place. 2 hotels that were considered dangerous are all set to be demolished. Residents are being relocated from Joshimath. Buildings marked under unsafe zone have been vacated. Buffer zones are being created. Teams from CBRI Roorkee will come now to identify the buildings that need to be demolished, and the residents who are being relocated are being promised also compensation by the BJP government of Uttarakhand. But there's one politician who is questioning the way all of this has happened. The former Water Resources Minister Uma Bharti is in Joshimath. I had spoken to her earlier this evening. Uma ji, welcome to the show. You had taken up Joshimath now in a big way. Aapne Joshimath ka issue bade paimane pe liya hai. And many of the problems Joshimath is facing today, you have said you had warned the centre and the state government in advance when you were Water Resource Minister. Don't go ahead with major power projects. They will damage the eco-sensitive Himalayan zone. Can you tell us more? Had you warned the centre and the state government in 2017, 2019 about what could happen in Joshimath?
The first thing is that my heart belongs to Joshimath, because Joshimath has its own glory. Adi Shankar spent 5 years here and he wrote Bhashya, and he is the one who did the Punaristhapana of Vedic Dharma, because it was almost finished. So that was the time, and he played very prominent role around 1500 years back, and because of that Joshimath is more important than any of the place right now in this country. And about this warning, I never thought I need to warn the government because I was the part of the government. So my affidavit was not a warning. My affidavit was an affidavit filed in the Supreme Court speaking against this NTPC project and calling it irreversible loss with the opinion of the experts. In that 7 IIT consortium involved, many experts' opinion was involved. So I will not say it was a warning to the government because I was the government myself. It was not a warning. It was an affidavit saying this, stated this.
No, but the fact
this project should not take place.
No, the fact is you put an affidavit in the Supreme Court questioning these power projects, but the power project, the NTPC power project, which many believe could lead, the tunnel could lead to the cracks we are seeing in Joshimath, still went ahead. Now, your affidavit is 2017. You have also said earlier that there was a meeting in the PMO in February 2019. I read that in a report this morning. Despite all of this, the project went ahead, and now some are saying these are the consequences. Do you believe this is a man-made disaster, Uma Bharti? The policy makers, people on the ground, both in Uttarakhand and in Delhi, have to answer for what is happening in Joshimath. Could this have been avoided?
Right now, the kind of attention media has brought to this issue from all over the world and from the country, both the governments are also very much aware. Right now, the present Chief Minister of Uttarakhand is very sensitive to these kind of issues, and the Prime Minister himself is an expert in facing the disaster and any challenge. Gujarat is the example. You remember the earthquake of Kutch and Bhuj when he became the Chief Minister. So they will be able to face the present problem. But the seriousness of the issue threatening the ecology of the rivers, of the country, of the Himalaya and of the other places, that is a very serious issue, and the affidavit was actually indicating that. And even many prominent officers in PMO has warned about it. But see, this is really, I am telling you, this is a matter of discovery. Why it happens? I think it is that some policy makers who are sitting in Delhi and they have created a word which is called low-hanging fruit. Means any project which can take up easily because all the permissions are given to that project. And this lust of eating the low-hanging fruit, they are eating this whole Uttarakhand, the rivers and the Himalaya alive. I think they are eating it alive.
You know, very interesting. You are saying these are low-hanging fruit which were being used by the governments in a way to push through projects. But when you have put on affidavit, you are a minister then. When you voiced your concerns, put it in an affidavit that this could lead to environmental consequences, I ask you again, why did the government not react earlier both in Uttarakhand and Delhi? Why did we have to wait for this crisis to suddenly realize that the Himalayas are eco-sensitive?
At present, we should wait for the report because the expert has been sent. The expert have come from 3 places. I think that's what I have heard today when I came to Joshimath. From PMO, from Environment Ministry and from Water Resource Ministry. Let them give their report. And as you are saying that I need not to inform anybody, not even the CM and to the PMO, because they are so well informed. They are not living in caves that they don't know what is happening around. But even then, why it happens? It is in Hindi called Yaksha Prashna. So I will request you all to continue with this debate. Because I am telling you the solution, the present solution of the current problem will be solved. It will be brought and it will be sorted out. But the real situation, the deep serious question which is being raised many times and being raised again, please continue with it. Maybe you will be able to, all media will be able to sort it out.
No, but I want to get this clear. Are you against all power projects? Do you believe all of them should be stopped? Do you believe there will be those who will see, because there will be those who say Uttarakhand needs these hydropower projects. Are you against all these power projects coming up?
I am not against any project. I am against damage of the ecology. If there is any threat and damage to the environment, to the ecology, to the civilization, because Himalaya is a very new mountain, the rocks are very new, it is only few lakhs years old. So very much danger is there, and there's so much of biodiversity, different kind of vegetation which gets totally destroyed, and many kind of animals, they get very disturbed. So you must take care of all these things, or you can see you can create a small project. I suggested, why don't you create a small project without disturbing anything in the run of the river? But the problem is in that they will get the employment for the state, but the power mafia will not get any profit, and they will not be able to give any fund to the politicians.
The power mafia will not get any profit and they will not be able to fund the politicians. Are you saying, therefore, that these projects are coming up because of a power mafia politician nexus? Are you telling me that there were people who paid off the politicians to go ahead with these projects, because you are using the word power mafia in several of your statements?
I will not use the power mafia word only for power mafia. There is a khanan mafia also, mining mafia, and there is a liquor mafia. And they are eating this country alive because they call it low-hanging fruit, as I have told you. So I will say this, I will repeat this, and I will never say that I did not say it.
You are making a major point. A former minister is telling me that there is a power mafia that is paying off politicians for these projects. Are you saying, therefore, there is corruption involved in many of these projects, particularly construction, not just power, but the construction that is taking place in and around the Himalayas, which many believe is in complete violation of the environment? Are you saying that this is corruption at the local level? There have been Congress and BJP governments in Uttarakhand and a BJP government in the center that has much to answer for?
Corruption has got an universal fraternity. It goes beyond political parties, it goes beyond caste, creed and religion. They are really secular in every meaning of it. And you think you are very innocent. Do I have to tell you this? Do I have to tell the media? Do I have to tell anybody? I can say that Modi ji is a very clean guy. I can say right now at present Pushkar Dhami is the cleanest of the chief ministers in the country. But I cannot say about, I cannot give a policy statement. I cannot give a general statement about it. But I know people are not innocent. You are not innocent.
You know, you're saying...
They know what the reality is.
No, what is the... You tell us what the reality is. Because the fact is, Uma Bharti, you were removed from the Water Resources Ministry. You are also handling Namami Gange project. And many believe is because you were raising troubling questions over some of these big projects that were taking place along the Ganga in the Himalayan area. Was this one of the factors responsible for you losing your ministry at the time? Can you clarify on that or not?
Nobody can answer this question except the Prime Minister. Whenever you get a chance, anybody can ask him. I will not answer this question. I will leave it unanswered.
You are telling me that this is a question I must put to the Prime Minister of the country, why you were removed from your ministry. But as I said, you were the one who had raised these troubling questions over environmental damage that could be done because of these power projects. Uma Bharti ji, you've joined me on the program and you spoke rather candidly about the power mafia and more. Thank you very much for joining us. That was Uma Bharti, with whom we had recorded earlier. She is at the moment in Joshimath. Let's take a break. On the other side, as the intense cold wave grips North India, our reality check from the ground on the plight of the homeless who are braving the severe cold and how you can help them.
You're watching an India Today special broadcast being brought to you from the stunning ski resort of Klosters, Davos.
The 53rd World Economic Forum is back at the snow-clad slopes of Davos. The smartest minds gather to debate the world's biggest challenges: energy crisis, industry headwinds, geopolitical risks, social vulnerabilities. India Today and Business Today are at ground zero to bring you all the action. Catch top corporate tycoons, politicians and intellectuals as they discuss cooperation in a fragmented world. Watch the Davos brainstorm only on India Today and Business Today TV.
Let's turn to tonight's Get Real India story, and it comes on the winter chill that has gripped North India. As mercury levels have plummeted, the severe cold wave is seeing the Delhi government now opening up many shelters to shield the homeless from the biting cold. But the truth is, many people are still out on the streets instead of the shelter. India Today's Newsmo team does a ground reality check on night shelters this winter.
Delhi is facing its longest spell of a cold wave in 10 years. Thousands of homeless citizens are forced to find shelter to survive the harsh weather.
हवा चलती है, ठंड तो लगती है। आज तो कोहरा कम है इसलिए ठंड नहीं है।
कैसे झेल रहे हो?
बस मैडम शक्ति तो ऊपर वाला देता है, क्या होता है।
The Delhi government has set up shelters to shield the homeless from the biting cold. But many prefer sleeping on the streets than seek refuge in these rain baseras.
बच्चा यहाँ पे लिटाया हुआ। बच्चा कोई है नहीं मैडम साथ में। मतलब कोई है ही नहीं रिश्तेदारी में। सब है तो गांव में है, बनारस में। अब कहाँ पहुँचाएंगे? स्कूल भी जाती सुबह 8 बजे। अभी 15 दिन की छुट्टियाँ पड़ गई है, जो साथ में ले जाती मैडम।
India Today hit the streets for a reality check. The findings were shocking. Many claim the rain baseras are extremely filthy and inadequate.
बिस्तर तो होते हैं लेकिन बिस्तर मतलब ना तो साफ होता है, फटे चीटे होते हैं और फिर उसमें गंदगी ज़्यादा होती है, तो उसमें हमें सोना पसंद नहीं है।
मैं रोड पे सो जाऊंगा, रोड पे मर जाऊंगा। मैं रेन बसेरे में नहीं सोता हूँ। एक ही बिस्तर पे 50-100 आदमी सोते हैं।
Some alleged they are being charged for using the shelter.
जाते हैं ना 250 रुपये देते हैं बैग की, 250 रुपये देते हैं 250।
आप 250 रुपये देना पड़ता है?
और 250 आदे करते हैं।
The caretakers of these shelters disagree. From food to mattress to blankets, they claim every facility is provided.
खाना भी मुफ्त है, दवाइयाँ भी मुफ्त है, रहना भी मुफ्त है और नहाने धोने की सारी सुविधाएं सारी मुफ्त हैं।
While the homeless claim they are turned away when the shelter is full, the caretakers reject the charge.
रैन बसेरा में पहले तो जल्दी जगह नहीं मिलती, मैंने 3-4 बार गया तो हाउसफुल बताते हैं। और जो अधिक लगाते हैं तो ये सर्दियों की वजह से बराबर में टेंट लगा दिया गया है, उसमें शूट कर देते हैं और उसमें से भी फालतू हो जाते हैं, तो और जो बसे हुए रैन बसेरे उनके अंदर शिफ्ट करके पहुंचा दिए जाते हैं।
The question of providing shelters for the needy is raised every winter. But has Delhi delivered for its homeless citizens or let them down once again? With Newsmo, Bureau Report, India Today.
How can you help sitting in the warmth of your rooms? Please look at this carefully and do help. You can donate winter clothing. Delhi Urban Shelter Improvement Board Shelter Home Yamuna Pushta ISBT Kashmiri Gate. Their phone number is out there, 828-58-21040. Please look at that number again carefully, 828-58-21040. That's one way you can donate. You can also go to the Uday Foundation website. That's the udayfoundation.org. These are their phone numbers on your screen and their email is info@udayfoundation.org. They too are taking blankets, sweaters and any old clothes that you may have. And then there is Goonj. This is their website, goonj.org. These are their phone numbers on your screen and their email, mail@goonj.org. Please do help those who are out there in the winter chill. Okay, let me leave you then tonight with our good news story. It's an India Today magazine special. An Uttar Pradesh government primary school gets India's first space lab. Students have now a strong desire to become scientists instead of doctors and engineers. We wish them well, and it's great to see this story coming in from Uttar Pradesh. It's part of the RPG Enterprises India Today Happiness Quest series, The Good News Story. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Good night. Shubhratri. Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Not engineers or doctors, students at this government school in Hasuri, Osanpur, in UP's Siddharth Nagar district want to be scientists. all thanks to a unique space lab designed and set up by the Indian Space Research Organization in 2022. The school kids are thrilled to see different planets and their satellites through the telescope. Around 8 lakh rupees was spent on the lab in the school.
सर, जब हमारे यहाँ स्पेस लैब नहीं थी तो हम लोग सौरमंडल के बारे में ही जानते थे, इससे ज़्यादा हम लोग सोच नहीं पाते थे।
तो स्पेस लैब लगने की वजह से हमें सौरमंडल के बारे में बहुत कुछ जानने को मिला है और सैटेलाइट्स कैसे बनती हैं, सैटेलाइट्स का काम क्या होता है, ये सब भी जानने को मिला है जो कि पहले हमें स्कूल्स में नहीं पढ़ाया जाता था।
The Space Lab is the initiative of Dilip Tripathi, the village Pradhan. The postgraduate in ancient history was inspired by the Hindi film Mission Mangal. He approached the Vyomika Space Academy, which was working with ISRO, to start classes in astronomy in the school.
एक भी आदमी यहाँ से, एक भी बच्चा अगर हमारा आने वाले समय में यहाँ से निकल के अगर स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी में अपने जाके देश की सेवा करेगा तो हमारा समझ लीजिए इसे स्पेस लैब का लगाना सफल हो जाएगा।
The Space Lab has scale models of all satellites launched by ISRO since 1980 and those that will be launched till 2030. It has 2 telescopes of 60 mm and 130 mm. It also has many remote-operated aircraft models and drones. Students from the school have also been selected for the ISRO campus tour. With Ashish Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today. Co-powered by Samsonite. Tested like Samsonite. Volkswagen Tiguan, India's safest SUVW. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. Tata Punch, vibes with you. Pakistan hits rock bottom. After power, now wheat crisis in Pakistan.